Well, I've just finished that stew, and if I say so myself, it was bloody superb. And I haven't even cooked it, have I? All I've done is emptied 4 tins into a pan, add some oxo cubes and a few spices, a little bit of thickener. I used some Bisto Best thickener, about a tablespoonful, and all I did was warm it up. With that bread, that fresh baguette, it was absolutely beautiful. I'm absolutely full as a drum, and there's enough left in that pan to do more than another dish for tomorrow evening. More. So that what I cooked, I'll say cooked, I didn't cook, what I warmed up there, you could feed 4 people with that, certainly feed 4 people there. Maybe a bit more bread, for dippers, just to fill people up, but it would do 4 people. Certainly 2 adults and 2 children, no problem. So that's something worth doing. Temperature today, it was actually at lunchtime in the living room. I looked at the sensor. It was 20.5 degrees Celsius, which is about 70 Fahrenheit. And the heating's not been on since last night. It's not been on all day. I just checked now, and it's dropped down now to just above 19. But that's still, that's still comfortable. That's still livable. I've got my pullover on. That's all I need. So tonight, I'm not going to need to stay here because I'm not going to have to flash up my heating system, my plant pot. No need for it. I think what I'll do is I'll take one of these candles, go into the living room and sit in my usual comfy chair. If I can read by it, great. If I can't, well, it don't matter. Do you know what? I'll just sit there and ponder, and I might just treat myself to a couple of cans of beer. And then about 9, 10 o'clock, which is about a couple of hours or so away, I shall wander up to bed. And then we can start again tomorrow morning. But day 1, I think I can put this down as a success. Not found any great problems yet. Yes, I do need to get a proper kettle. Open pan doesn't do it. Yeah, I could put a lid on the pan, but I've looked all over and I can't find a damn lid for my pan. So, but I definitely need a kettle. Spirit burner worked great. There's not a lot of smell. The tiny bit of smell there was, I just opened the window a tad and it disappeared. But tomorrow we'll try warming up this, I should put it into a smaller pan. We'll see if we can warm it up with tea lights. As long as you don't shove them all together, otherwise you're just going to get one big snotty flame. No, you have to keep them separate. Put them in a circle with one in the middle, under the circumference of the pan. And that should work. Might take a bit longer, but I'll see. And stew always tastes better the second day anyway. So we'll see how that goes. What other problems have I found? Well, I don't watch television anyway. I got rid of my television nigh on 2 years ago. I didn't watch the garbage what was on there, to be honest. It's just crap. It wasn't worth watching. I still don't watch YouTube and read, to be honest. I'm not interested in the propaganda what's spouted out on television. So I don't miss that. So obviously, to me, not having a television is no problem whatsoever. I do have a radio. What I do have with the radio is a problem is it's a DAB, it's a DAB radio, but it's only electricity powered. It's not battery. You can't put batteries in it. So that's a bit of an oversight. I might have to see if I can pick myself up a little DAB radio. Though again, I don't listen to a lot of radio either. But if in a case of emergency, you'd sometimes need to listen for bulletins and that. So I think I'm going to have to sort myself out. Nothing expensive, just some tiny thing. Just a little DAB that's battery powered as well as mains powered. So that's another thing I've learned. Other than that, no, everything's gone really well. Obviously the temperature's not a problem, and it would be if this was happening in January. But the big fella upstairs decides on the temperature, not me. I can only go with what we've got. So yeah, so far a success. I'm enjoying it. It's been a good exercise. I'll see how I go tonight when I'm sat in the living room. As I say, I shall take one of the candles in there. If I can read with it, great. If I can't, no problem. I'll just sit and ponder, and as I said, I'll treat myself to a couple of beers. So I'll leave it at that, and we'll carry on this video in the morning. You take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Goodbye. Good morning on this bright, sunny Sunday morning in East Yorkshire. Now it's day 2 of 48 hours with no electricity. Last night, obviously after the meal, I did as I said I was going to do. I went into my comfortable chair because the temperature was still reasonable. No need for an emergency fire. I didn't set one of the big candles, thought I'd save them. I just took a couple of tea lights so I can see in front of me. Put them on the table next to my comfy chair. I had a beer, and it was wonderful. No social media, no mainstream media, no noise, nothing. Away from everything. No interference whatsoever from anywhere or anyone. I'm not kidding you, it was like cleansing of the soul to be away from it all. Absolutely nothing. I just sat there with my own thoughts, a couple of candles, and a can of beer. And it was absolutely wonderful. Didn't need any entertainment, that was enough. I wandered off up to bed about 10:30, I would think it was. I think it was about 10:30, obviously making sure that I'd snuffed out all candles and making sure my spirit burner was properly out, which of course it was. And I slept like a baby. Absolutely slept like a baby. Didn't wake up. First time I woke up was just after 7 o'clock this morning. The light was just starting to come through the window. Turned over, went back to sleep. Didn't get up about 20 past 8, which is pretty much unusual for me. I'm usually up before then, but got up at 20 past 8. The sun was shining. It was another good day. Came downstairs. The temperature in the living room was, I think it was 17 degrees Celsius, which isn't bad really. So it's going to be a lot colder than this one in winter. But so far this has been a good exercise. What else do I need to say? There was still enough hot water this morning in the tank for me to wash, etc., and to do some washing up. Because I did the washing up from last night this morning. I didn't want to do it last night in candlelight, so I did that this morning. There was enough of that. I am missing having a shower, I must say that. Fortunately, I'm just sat here, doing this sort of stuff. I'm not doing any physical manual work or, out there getting filthy, building or digging or something. So I'm not covered in filth and I'm not sweating or anything, but I do miss having a shower. That would be one thing I really would miss if we were a long time without electricity. But, I'll just have to be a stinky boy until tomorrow morning when I can have a shower. Other than that, it's been straightforward. I mean, some people in parts of the world, I know if there's hurricanes and stuff like that, drought, floods and things, they can be without power for weeks, even months. I've just gone 48 hours in what's been pretty benign weather. So it's no real comparison. But hopefully we won't have to face this 48 hours in this country, unless we get bad weather, we get our storms, maybe power lines come down, and you might be without electricity for a few days, maybe even a week, but it's quite rare, especially in the city. The worst what can happen is probably the government turning it off for 2, 3, 4 hours at a time just to save on power. But now I've done this, I'm not too concerned. This evening I shall do the remaining half of the stew, but I'm going to use the tea candles for that. I shall put them in a circle with one in the middle. Don't keep a space between tea lights, because if you put them all together, they'll just catch fire. You just get a massive flame. So you keep a distance between them. Put them around underneath the circumference of the pan, the saucepan. Light them up. I would think 1 to probably 7 will be enough, and that should certainly warm up the half pan of stew that I've got left for tonight. I don't intend to, and it should be. It's not going to boil it, but it's going to get up to a very, very hot temperature, enough to eat and enjoy. So that'll be doing. I won't show you that again because you don't want to see that. But I will report back again, probably one more time tomorrow morning, and to let you know how the final evening went, the final day with no electricity went. Technically speaking, the 48 hours is up at midnight tonight, so, but obviously I'll be in bed by then, so it'll be 8 o'clock in the morning before I'll be using any electricity. So it's been a useful exercise. I may add a bit more on the back of this if something happens what turns up that I haven't spotted or a problem. But this will probably be it, I think. I think it'll probably be long enough, this video. You'll probably be bored by now. Well, anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you stood it through and maybe you've learnt a little bit. I certainly have. And I'll speak to you on the next one. Bye for now. Good evening. It's now just gone 7 p.m. on Sunday. The experiment is coming to an end. There's 5 more hours until midnight, when the 48 hours without electricity comes to an end. I've just had my warmed up stew. I did use the tea lights, the little tea light candles. I used 5 of them in a circle in the circumference of the pan, 1 in the centre, making sure none of them touched each other. I don't want them to burst into flames and start a fire. And it worked. It wasn't boiling hot, although I reckon if I'd left it longer it would have got hotter. But I didn't want it to take the stew to take the skin off the roof of my mouth. It was plenty hot enough, and it had been sat on there for about 45-50 minutes. In fact, it was readier, I'll get me right in a minute. It was ready earlier than I expected. That's why I've eaten earlier. And very nice it was too, of course. Stew's always better on the second day. Today I also did some washing. No washing machine. Nothing major, just a couple of cotton t-shirts and the underwear I've been wearing on Friday and Saturday. 1 bucket with the water, because the water in the tank is still hot. It's not as hot as it was because it's not been on now since 10 o'clock Friday morning. So it is starting to cool down a bit, but it was enough, and I had my wash powder in there and some Lenor. So I did a couple of t-shirts, 2 pair of socks, 2 pair of underpants, got them washed, give them a good rinse out in another bucket of clean water, fresh water, good squeeze, put them out on the line. Job was a good one, all done and dusted. So I've got washing done as well. Tonight I shall do the same as I did last night. I shall take, well, I've got one camera, I've got a candle in the other room already, one of these. I shall leave this one here for now. I shall sit there, I'll have a beer, maybe 2, and I shall just sit and enjoy the peace and quiet and the candle. Do you remember the days when, before mobile phones and before the internet and before iPads and Xboxes and God knows what else, and television? Do you remember when we used to actually sit and talk? Oh God, do I have to talk to this person who I've lived with for the last 30 years? We have conversations. Now I'm on my own. But I know if my missus was still here, my wife was still here, she wouldn't be bothered at all. We'd be laughing and joking and having a really good conversation. And that's what it's all about. Being without electricity, it's not as bad as you think. Alright, I've got no one to laugh and joke with, but I can think back on things I've done and what we've said and done. And it's so therapeutic. You've got no outside influences, just a candle, and you and whatever your favourite beverage is, be it tea, coffee or a beer or a glass of wine or a whiskey, whatever it be. And you can just sit there and enjoy yourself. And then when you're finished, snuff out that candle and wander up to bed. So that's what I'll be doing tonight. I've enjoyed this exercise. I've learned a lot. I shall be experimenting more with the tea light candles, see what I can and can't do on the cooking front with them, because it's a good secondary source beside the spirit burner. So I'm definitely going to experiment more with that, and what better time than to do it now. The weather's been very benign this weekend. I've been very, very lucky. I don't think the temperature in this house has dropped below 16 Celsius, which is about 64 Fahrenheit, all weekend, even at night. So I've been very, very lucky. It wouldn't be like that in December and January. But at least I've given it a try. I've seen some of the pitfalls, I've seen some of the advantages, and I've seen some of the things that I need to work on and some things that I'd like to experiment with. So it's been a really useful exercise. Not been a wasted weekend, it's been good. As I say, there's about 4 hours left, 5 hours left of this experiment, although I'll be in bed at midnight when it's finished. So I'll be up again at 8 o'clock in the morning to go back to normal, if you like. Is normal the right word? To be honest, I don't mind this. I really don't mind this. I found this to be very enlightening, very relaxing, and very enjoyable. Maybe I'm just weird, I don't know. My niece always says I'm eccentric. You know, I'm one of these people who preps and does things like that. Or you're mad. It'll never happen, Uncle Ian, but, you know, we'll see. And, yes, I like company. I am a sociable animal. I love talking to people and mixing with people. I have a great time with people, but I'm more than happy in my own company. You know, I'm not going to sit there fretting. Anyway, enough of me. I'm rambling now. The experiment's about over. So tomorrow I'll stitch all these bits together. I might have to split it into a couple of parts because I've really waffled on and it's got on quite long. And you know what people are like nowadays? They've got the attention span of a bloody gnat. So if a video's more than 5 minutes, that's it, they've lost interest. They're off doing something else, because that's the way of the world now. So I'll try and cut it down into maybe 2 videos, possibly 3. But it's been good, I've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy watching this when you do eventually watch it. And I'll speak to you at some future time. So you take care and look after yourself, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.